till now we have seen the first set of objectives of the non-aligned movement, which are the abolition of imperialism and colonialism, anti-racism, enforcement of human rights, maintenance of international peace, and disarmament. In this particular lesson, we will be looking at the next set of objectives of this particular movement. The first objective we will be looking at is multilateralism and the United Nations. Now, NAM condemns all manifestations of unilateralism and promotes and reinforces the concept of multilateralism. But what do these terms mean? Let's look at that now. Now, unilateralism refers to the tendency of a single power making decisions on its own, in complete disregard for any of the other concerned parties. In international relations, this refers to a single superpower doing whatever they want to do without having any regard for other countries and nations. Now, NAM wishes to condemn unilateralism and instead promote multilateralism, which is when multiple countries come together and decide on various issues and situations, which thereby limits the power of any one single country or superpower to do whatever they want. Therefore, NAM wishes to promote and reinforce the concept of joint global governance, where many nations come together to make decisions regarding international issues. But does this not sound similar? It is because it is also the aim of the United Nations. And when NAM strengthens the importance of multilateral cooperation, it also therefore strengthens the central role that the United Nations must play. Now, can you answer this question? Which organization's role does the NAM wishes to strengthen? Is it the League of Nations, the United Nations, NATO, or the European Union? The correct answer is the United Nations. Now, since the non-alignment movement wishes to strengthen the role of the United Nations, it is often referred as a mini United Nations. Now, NAM also wishes to achieve multilateralism and also strengthen the role of the United Nations by defending international peace and security and also settling all international disputes by peaceful means in accordance with the principles and objectives of the United Nations Charter and that of international law. This in turn also sanctions and strengthens the UN Charter itself. Along with this, NAM also upholds various other principles and objectives of the United Nations by achieving international cooperation regarding them. Therefore, we understand that the United Nations found in NAM a guardian angel, and NAM found in United Nations a very important friend. Now, we remember that the core reason for the formation of the non-aligned movement was for the various third world countries to achieve development. But when they started to walk on the path of development, they realized that the entire economic order is unfair towards them. And therefore, a recent objective of NAM is to restructure the entire existing economic order and in turn create a new international economic order, or an NIEO. What is this new international economic order? It is a set of principles suggested by developing countries to developed nations, which wishes to reduce the gap between developing and developed countries and to also give a scope to the former, the developing nations, to reap the benefits of interconnectedness of the world and to also access the benefits of globalized trade. In one word, the new international economic order wishes for developing countries to no longer be dependent on the developed nations and find their own economic independence. Now, as a part of the creation of a new international economic order and to replace the existing, NAM also reforms the various world economic institutions such as the International Monetary Foundation, the World Bank, and the World Trade Organization, so that they no longer are West-centric or centered around Western nations and in turn be more focused on the overall development of the world and also focus on the benefit and development of the third world countries. Now, in this field, NAM also has the objective of acting as a regional grouping for the economic equality and sustainable development of the various third world nations. You can see the various third world nations in this map right here, and this the NAM wishes to achieve through strategic cooperation of the various member nations of NAM, which primarily makes up the third world anyway. Finally, NAM also acts as a guardian angel for various underdeveloped countries, especially when it comes to scrutinizing the various forms of economic aid which global powers give to these nations. NAM scrutinizes and ensures that these economic aids are not really a form of economic exploitation mechanisms such as neocolonialism. So often is the case when these global powers, in guise of giving aid to such nations, actually is making these nations fall into a debt trap. So over here we see a satirical illustration which shows the difference between colonialism and neocolonialism. So in the case of colonialism over here, we see a picture of Africa at that time where the Western powers are gaining control of Africa through slavery. Whereas in comparison to the concept of neocolonialism, where the West is getting control of Africa by putting them in debt. They're both very similar concepts, just done differently. So it's NAM's responsibility to make sure that such forms of disguised economic aid do not reach such developing nations where they might fall into debt traps of various superpowers. Now, not only are the objectives of NAM restricted to social, economic, and political fields, it also involves the field of the environment, particularly the protection of environment. So NAM considers that environmental protection, especially in developing countries, is an integral part of development itself. In fact, NAM urges various developing nations to not ignore economic protection while trying to achieve economic development, as any form of economic development which does not keep in mind environmental protection is no real development at all. That is what the NAM believes and also propagates. NAM also stresses the need for international community and its cooperation to take environmental degradation or the rapid decay of environment more seriously, to also cooperate in order to enrich the environment, and to also fund the research of cheap and ecologically sustainable alternatives of existing technologies, especially in the case for developing countries. As we have already seen multiple number of times that the United Nations often works alongside NAM, so is the case for the protection of environment as well, as NAM assists the United Nations environmental program. It also makes sure that it sets up regional environmental organizations in all the non-aligned nations so that these organizations could then work alongside the United Nations environmental program. Over here we see a poster of the United Nations environmental program on the left, alongside a poster of India's own environmental organization, and this particular organization, like many other regional organizations, sync up and work alongside the United Nations environmental program. NAM also wishes to set up a platform and in fact be the platform where it can recognize various strategic environmental issues such as water shortage and also illegal poaching, and these NAM wishes to recognize as global issues and then also deal with it on an international basis. So in this lesson, we saw the various objectives of the non-aligned movement. In the subsequent lesson, we will be seeing the contribution of a very key architect of the non-aligned movement, that is Jawaharlal Nehru. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at DeltaStep.com or download the DeltaStep app to learn one-to-one with our amazing teachers, or to get access to all our 5,000 plus amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million plus questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock tests. Get all your doubts resolved instantly. Learn via games and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, it is rewarding too. So register for free now.